Hey Hornets, and welcome back to Kbtv, Keeling's #1 source for news and information.
Keeling has been a very different place in these last few years, but now things are finally coming back to normal.
In this episode, we'll bring notice to and explore these old norms.
The trip to Berlin is a beloved Keeling tradition for German students, but due to COVID, it was canceled.
Now, after a 2-year hiatus, it's finally returned.
Here's Jane Wagner and Dylan Ramsey with more.
All right.
The environment is different this year in the German program, as it is the first year back with the German exchange program since COVID.
Looking forward to seeing my students get paired with a partner and watching them interact, take risks, speak German when they're in Germany, and then also just experience an entirely different way of life.
To make the German exchange program possible, chaperones are always needed. Many chaperones have already embarked on this journey, but for others it's a brand new experience of a lifetime.
Oh my goodness. I am so excited to be a chaperone on the German exchange trip. I've never been to Germany. I've never been to Europe. I downloaded Duolingo and I'm starting to learn. I know how to say the word please, bitte, so I'll be very polite in Germany. I'm very excited. I'm also a little bit nervous.
Students are one of the most important parts of the German exchange program. All of the students are very excited for this new journey and wonderful experience.
I'm nervous because I'm going to be living with someone that I will have met once before and in a completely different country, but I'm excited because I think it'll be really fun.
Wow, the German exchange program seems really fun. I bet the students are glad it's back. There seems to be a lot of learning and experiences. This has been Jane Wagner reporting for Kbtv.
Speaking of traditions, Keeling's homecoming was a week to remember in terms of celebrating old customs.
With spirit days, pep rallies, and action-packed sports game, it was a jam-packed week of fun.
Here is Rivka Rosenthal and Haley Ruiz with the recap.
Homecoming was fun, but now it's done. In honor of another long-awaited homecoming, let's take a look back at our week of celebrations.
Well, we used to have pep rallies in the past, so it was nice to get back to that. A couple of years off with the pandemic, but pretty similar, where we'd had dress-up days and then try to support the volleyball and football teams.
Despite the pandemic and not celebrating homecoming this past year, many students displayed their enthusiasm and school spirit this year in a variety of ways, including our KMS cheerleaders.
My favorite part about homecoming was probably the dressing up for the Spirit Weeks. I think it was just really fun to see everybody in their colors.
Come to the end of another very successful and enthusiastic homecoming week. From everything to festivities and another annual homecoming game, we return to an almost normal homecoming week and setting. This has been Rivka reporting for Kbtv.
The homecoming football game was awesome, and so is our Keeling football team.
This year, Keeling combined 7th and 8th grade teams for the first time, along with many other schools in the district.
But what's the reason for this combination, and how does this impact players and coaches?
Learn more with Franny Scott and Micah Pearson.
Red, white, come on Horns, let's fight! Yeah.
This football season wasn't what the players expected.
We didn't expect us to be in a combined team, but it was, the 8th graders are good leaders and I enjoy being with them.
Smaller numbers of players on a combined team allowed the 8th graders to step up as leaders.
Last year I was more, I was learning how to be a leader, but this year I've, jumped up and I hope I've stepped into the role of being a leader. I don't know, I find a lot of joy in helping other people get better at what they do.
8th grade leaders developed skills to connect with teammates in different ways from the coaches.
Right after halftime, Martin came out and scored on us really quickly, and our leaders kind of rallied the troops and didn't let anybody get their heads down or give up, and we came back and I think the next drive scored and tied the game up.
And overall, building relationships is what made it a memorable season.
Having a teammate that is proven over several weeks that they're committed, that they care about you, and they're not going to give up on you is really, really key for that relationship to take place.
This has been Franny Scott reporting for KNN.
With all these changes, there's definitely been people who've had to step up and be leaders.
A lot of those people have joined NJHS, or National Junior Honor Society. This is an organization for leaders in our community to help out others with service projects.
Keeling has its own chapter run by Miss Chambers. If you're interested, stay tuned. Here's more information brought to you by Pablo Cuellar Rojas and Ruby Sutherland.
In 7th and 8th grade, you can join NJHS, or the National Juniors Honor Society. It is a society that does service projects and helps the community.
So in order to join NJHS, you actually have to be invited through what we call a candidacy letter. And the candidacy letter just says that you're eligible to join NJHS, and then there are further steps that have to be taken.
NJHS does service projects and helps around the school while also meeting typically once a month. The officers have to meet twice a month because it is more of a responsibility.
I think what we do is very helpful and beneficial to the community we have at Keeling.
NJHS members may have a little more to do and more commitments to manage. It is also important for them to keep up with what is happening.
It's not as much as a responsibility as it is more just a commitment to show up to meetings, do your service projects, keep up with what happens.
NJHS is a fun and responsibility-based society that helps around the school and does service projects. You can join in 7th and 8th grade if you receive a candidacy letter.
Ruby reporting for Kbtv.
Keeling has another new leader, Dr. Steenport.
As we've all experienced, these last years at Keeling have been a whirlwind, and the search for stable leadership and a strong principal has been a struggle.
Here's Caroline Brown and Catherine Komagortseva to introduce you to our new principal.
Keeling has gone through a few changes this year, and now we have a new principal.
So he's pretty new, but so far I get a really positive vibe and energy from him, and he seems very receptive to feedback from the staff, and he's a great communicator.
Dr. Steenport has been getting to know students and teachers very well, including meeting them after school to communicate with them.
Yeah, he did. He knew a bunch of students' names, and he would say hi to them in the hallways.
Our new principal, Dr. Steenport. Why is he here? Why did he specifically want to be Keeling's principal?
I think it's watching our students and our staff grow. Staff as professionals, students as young human beings, so it's fun to see the progress every single day.
Dr. Steenport is well known for his communication and ability to get to know people. He is very involved with everything happening at Keeling and is an excellent principal. This has been Catherine Komagortseva reporting for Kbtv.
Keeling has a lot of new changes happening right now, and I hope today you've learned more about them.
Thanks for watching Kbtv,
Keeling's #1 source for news and information.